Welcome to the first episode of Dawnbringer for the 2021 World Championships. I want to shout out Project Zero from the Oracle's Elixir Discord for the series name, of course, referencing the TFT set Dawnbringers. I actually like playing Dawnbringers quite a bit in TFT. And since I'm getting up, this morning my alarm was set for 3:35 a.m. I gave myself those extra 5 minutes just to feel a little bit better about it. And so, I'm definitely welcoming in the dawn with these Worlds games so far. And if anybody else is in the West Coast of North America, you're joining me in that. So it seemed fitting. Last year it was Night Vision. This year, Dawnbringer. We'll see about next year. So we had our first day, and of course you can check out my written kind of takeaways and recap on oracleselixir.com. Had some kind of one tweet game recaps, which I was also posting on Twitter throughout the day. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about the takeaways that I had, and really two kind of larger takeaways, one on the positive side, one on the negative side. And on the positive side, of course, as an NA fan and, repping the Cloud9 Worlds hoodie here, Cloud9 had a great showing in that first game. They came out and they just controlled everything start to finish. They controlled the draft, and that led into controlling the top side of the map. Fudge set up his lane just right for a crash and a dive, and Blabber was there, and they just kind of rolled it all out and activated their bot lane into the mid lane and did all those kind of just very textbook topside oriented game plan, and snowballed it out. So there's so much to feel good about. It's just a one game thing, and you change up the draft, maybe you fix that and the whole thing looks different, but from the DFM side, but Cloud9 fans and North American fans definitely can feel good about what we got to see. I think the whole team definitely takes some confidence from that, and start on the right foot, which is always a nice thing. Sometimes it can feel like at Worlds, and of course play-ins are a little different from the regular kind of the main group stage, but you can sometimes feel like you start off on the wrong foot and then make a late surge, or sometimes it goes the other way around and we start really well and then kind of fall off at the end. But always, you want to start off good and then hope you can maintain that momentum. So we'll see how the rest goes. I personally think that DFM might have been the toughest opponent in the group, and of course we've got Galatasaray had a pretty good day, I should say. 2 games, went 2-0, and so they look pretty tough and beyond. You don't want to sleep on them, but I think this is not Cloud9 coming out and stomping the weakest team in the group, unless something goes really strange with the rest of the play-ins here. But it's something that definitely. It really was as good a win as it looked. So that's Cloud9. On the other side of things, Korea sent Hanwha, and of course I knew a lot of people came in with kind of relatively low expectations for them. It's kind of the Chovy show, and Def does pretty well sometimes, but they've got some weak points. They don't play the best together as a team. A little bit surprising from some perspectives that they got here in the first place. But you still didn't expect them, I think, to come out looking as weak as they did today. And I know if you watched kind of the analyst desk segments on the main broadcast, you probably got some of this vibe already. But yeah, I just was really unimpressed with them today. I thought their first game, the first half of the game against LNG, I thought it was fine. I thought playing relatively passively and farming it out, being conservative was good for what they had in their comp. But I thought they needed to kind of flip the switch in the mid game. And start trying to take things over. And they tried to exert a little bit of pressure here and there, but they were just never together as a team. They would have one person walking up and the rest weren't really backing them up properly. They weren't, they weren't kind of like ebbing and flowing as a unit. And that was the biggest issue for me. And so they just got kind of rolled over. They got picked off. They got exposed, and it went from there. So, that game, but at the same time, that was against probably the best team in the entire play-ins in LNG. And it was really the other game, their win, that concerned me a little bit more, because the way they won that game was very, I used the word awkward, I think 3 times in my one tweet recap for the game. And very intentionally. I thought that whole game just looked so... they didn't really have clarity in what they wanted to do or why they were doing it. They wanted to fight here. They didn't want to fight there. They had the same kind of thing where they would walk kind of one person into the jungle, applying some pressure and kind of get caught for it. They gave up some potential comeback plays in the mid game. And I thought it just looked really sloppy. And there's some big issues there. So they've got a lot of fast improvement that they've got to put together if they want to bring any kind of momentum into the group stage or even make the group stage. And, I don't want to be alarmist about it and say, oh no, they're definitely not going to make groups now. Like, that's not the case. Like, they're still strong players. They've still got Chovy and Deft and Vista. I thought Vista kind of saved them in that second game, but these are still good players, and they've got coaching staff that's going to help them figure it out. But this was very much a start on the wrong foot, I thought, and they've got to clean it up, because they'll probably end up in second place in their group and have to do a crossover best of 5. And seeing that Group B looks pretty close, they're probably going to have a relatively stiff opponent to face in that best of 5, and they can't take that lightly. So yeah, not feeling so good about Hanwha, but I don't think it's a huge surprise. I think the fact that we can feel so good about Cloud9 is going to surprise some people, especially all of the skeptics and the doubters from who looked at MSI and thought it was just a colossal failure all around, instead of taking a more nuanced view of it, and seeing kind of the what actually happened there. And yeah, so it's mixed experience depending on what angle you're coming at this day. So those are my thoughts on day 1. You can get a written up version of that on oracle.elixir.com. And also, I'm going to be posting fantasy picks throughout Worlds on Patreon for Patreon subscribers. So patreon.com/oracleselixir. So I posted my picks for today, for both my kind of the weekly picks for Esports 1 Fantasy, and then I did daily picks on DraftKings. Not the best day for my Esports 1 lineup, but my DraftKings lineup cashed. Did pretty well. Got a 3 times return on that one, I think it was. To make sure that none of the scores shifted after I last checked, but in that range. And so I've posted my lineup for tomorrow as well. I think we've got some pretty good value we can find there. So if you aren't already supporting on the Patreon, check that out if you want to see and kind of play along with that. Put your own lineup in, or kind of mirror mine. Have some fun with it. So yeah, I'll be doing this daily on every day of games. I'll have some recaps and thoughts like this. Let me know what you think and whether there are specific things you want to hear about. Throw some questions in, and if I don't answer them in a comment, maybe I'll answer them in the next day's video and discuss it a little bit. So it should be a fun tournament. I need to get some sleep, maybe a nap. Maybe I'll have to just survive and hopefully sleep a little better tonight and get to bed early. But I'm going to head over and see if I can take care of that now. Thanks for watching.